Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Getting Past It, the podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about betting on yourself, believing in yourself, and giving equal thought to the positive outcomes versus the negative. So, what do I mean? Let's talk about it. A lot of times we have opportunities that present themselves to us, and I can tell you from my perspective, I tend to go down the rabbit hole of what happens if this goes wrong? What if I'm not successful at whatever this opportunity is? What if I fail, fall on my face? What does that look like? And I tend to give so much thought into the negative analysis that it almost stops me from moving forward because I'm thinking about the bad things that could happen. Me not spending time focused on other things because I'm focused on this new thing, and now this new thing doesn't go well. And so some of the conversations I've been having with my son, and it's like that old adage, easier said than done, where you can have a conversation with somebody, and as you're talking to them, you're listening and you're thinking like, I need to take my own advice. And so one of the things I talk to my son about all the time is making sure he gives equal thought to what if everything goes right? What if it works? What does that look like? We never spend time in that space thinking about if I start taking these steps and really throw myself into this opportunity, into this venture, what if everything that I'm thinking could happen does happen, right? We think about all the negative aspects, but not about how the positive outcomes can change our lives. But then even with that, I also want to reshape or reform how we think about failure. In the last few years, there's been a lot of messaging around failing fast. And I can tell you that for me, I've learned the most lessons from my failures because those are the things that you remember. I remember those more so than my successes, to be honest. I can tell you, you know, years and years and years ago when I had my first, difficult conversation with the person in the contact center, and it didn't go well. And what didn't go well? All those different things because they sit with you. But you also learn a lot when you have those missteps if you truly take an opportunity to sit back and reflect on how you showed up to the situation, what you could have done differently. Sometimes we run away from failure when we should just understand that there's going to be learning experiences and everything's not always going to work out, but there's a lesson in everything that we do. Um, It'll teach us how to recalibrate, refocus. Sometimes it's not necessarily a failure. Sometimes you just got to go back to the drawing board and reimagine some things, do some things differently. You might really be onto something, but you need to change your steps. And so I want us to get to a more positive space of really thinking about the positive outcomes and how those positive outcomes can affect us for the better. Betting on us, betting on you. A long time ago, there was someone I was speaking to, and they were pouring into me, and basically what they told me was that as long as you're willing to go out there and build somebody else's dream, they'll let you. But it's up to you to start focusing and building your dream. And we can get caught up in the day-to-day. We can get caught up in life. Just trying to keep the lights on, trying to keep the kids fed, trying to keep ourselves fed, trying to keep up with the status quo. All those different things that we tend to do every day in today's society. And by trying to keep up with all of those things, we think stepping out on faith and betting on ourselves will hinder that. And we've got to reshape and reform how we think about those things. As much time as we spend at work doing, 9 to 5 things, we need to make sure we take time for ourselves to build what we want. Now, everybody doesn't want to be an entrepreneur, and that's cool, because it's not for everybody. But for those who have hopes, dreams, and desires of one day being their own boss and being in that space where you can create and kind of run your own show, you have to carve out the time to build that. You have to be intentional with your time. Time is one of those constructs that you can't get time back. It doesn't recycle itself. You can't try to fit more things into it. So you have to be really intentional about how you structure your time and making sure you set time for yourself. You set time to think. You set time to decompress from your day. You set time to visualize where you want to go in life and what you want to do. Maybe do a vision board. I've got a big piece of cardboard that's been sitting in here for quite some time where I've started working on the vision board, but I haven't finished it. Back to my procrastination. But that's something that I need to do. But plot a course, right? A lot of times we fly by the seat of our pants. Think about where you want to go, who you want to be, how you want to leave this world, the impact that you want to have, and bet on you. Oftentimes I think about the conversations I have with myself mentally. You know, and I tell myself, if somebody else out there in the world spoke to me the way I speak to myself, we would have an issue. And so I'm trying to reframe the conversations I have with myself mentally to be more positive and more uplifting, because as we all say, we're our own worst critic, right? And we should be our biggest advocate, our own biggest advocate, with the belief in ourselves and confidence in our ability, and the want to get better every day. And then also the wherewithal to take a step back as we are taking those steps forward, to look at how we can be better in different spaces, what things we can do differently, and what lessons have already been learned so we can course correct. But with that said, I hope you all are having a fantastic day out there. I just want to plug a few other podcasts that have been super inspirational for me. A good buddy of mine, Gregory Amigio, has the Activating You podcast. Super great content over there, so check him out. I also got hooked on Ashley Fox. She's a financial person, where she gives a lot of great financial information. I don't know her personally. She was just one of those podcasts that I went down the rabbit hole of when I really started, researching and looking at things. But even the Joe Budden podcast, I've probably watched every episode of that. I'm an avid watcher of that. But looking at where he started to where he is, but all of that came from vision, betting on himself. Each of those individuals betting on themselves, but also learning along the way how they could be better, how they could do better, and keeping that in the forefront. So remember to keep yourselves in a positive space. Bet on yourself. Get past the negative thoughts of it not working and put yourself in the positive space of, what if it all goes right? What does that look like, right? And really embrace that and live it and go after it. Again, I hope you all have a great day. Great day. Please hit that subscribe button. Please share with a friend. Please leave a comment or any feedback that you have. This is all a learning experience for me. And thank you for taking the time. I also wanted to take a minute to show you guys some of my wife's amazing artwork. So these are some of the paintings that she has done. If you're interested in something like this or any of these, feel free to hit me up or leave a comment.